Welcome back to Stay Frothy, the podcast you'll hate that you love.
Get it.
My name's Brad. We're back here with Kevin and
Let's
Craig
go.
again in your favorite podcast studio that dubs as an apartment, as a kitchen, as one of the dopest living rooms that you'll ever see.
It's got 2 TVs.
Yeah, I appreciate the props there, Brad. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
This is honestly like one of the coolest makeshift studios,
Yeah,
and
that was really nice.
I can't thank these guys enough for letting me use their stuff. To just go ahead and get right into the podcast, this one is specifically sponsored by White Claw, the spiked seltzer that you can drink with your bros and or gals.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, listen, like, White Claws have definitely come to the scene by storm. No one really saw them coming. I think that they were actually really spearheaded by girls from the beginning. But God forbid, guys understood that there were certain facts about White Claws that just can't be ignored.
I think there's a negative stigmatism that comes with it.
No. So let me even out that negative stigmatism. First and foremost,
Okay.
It's not beer. Understandable. Secondly,
Clearly.
that it's going to be like a sugary, BS drink that's going to give you like a headache later. And again, I think it also falls back on the fact that it's just not beer. But
beer's good, though. Beer's good.
beer's good.
Don't forget about that.
This White Claw stuff has more kick than beer.
It's 5%.
Tastes great.
Well, it depends on what kind of beer you're drinking. Because if you're drinking IPAs,
Fact-checking. He's looking on his
fact
computer.
check.
Fact check.
Yeah, fact check.
And it turns out you're wrong, dude.
Yeah, fact check.
Thank you. But lastly, there's actually no sugar in this, so there's no repercussions from a hangover perspective.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that, like, I'm a recent, I've jumped on board. I've joined the bandwagon. I'm on board, and I'm pumped about it. I'm excited. I can't stop talking about it. I'm stoked. I always thought that this thing was just like covered in sugar. Like, you drink this and you're gonna be hurting tomorrow. But after looking at the nutritional facts, which have to be correct,
Yeah, they have to be
They
correct.
have to be correct.
Yeah.
I've read that in the news somewhere. It's delicious.
100 calories, 25 milligrams of sodium, 5 total carbs. For all you health nuts out there, that's wild. A beer has like 3 times the amount of that.
Yo,
I was a health major, guys, so
Brad's not even drinking the
you're welcome.
Yeah, he's
Shit.
drinking that off-brand shit. Which, listen, not everything is perfect here. We do the best that we can, but we're gonna have to ask Brad to put that away so that
It's all right, Brad. Don't worry about
we
it.
can't see that.
The whole point about the White Claw is, look, they're our unofficial sponsor. They're going to be sponsoring us. Don't worry, they don't know about it, but by the end of this podcast, they will know.
They will
I'm going
know.
to tweet at them until they figure this out. They're going to be our official sponsor. We're going to get a new, even though this place is sick, we're going to get Mike, the chef. We're going to get him a new upgraded kitchen. Like, don't worry about that. So I'm excited, guys. I'm on board with the White Claw train.
Okay, yeah. So to kind of summarize all of that, White Claws are in, people. Get on this train if you are a serious person who's obviously health and fit conscious, because your body's going to look good while drinking these in the summer.
Yep.
And then 2,
Toss up, but yeah.
your hangover is not going to really be a hangover because you're not really drinking sugary drinks.
Now, however, I will interject and say one thing. Now, if you drink enough of these fucking White Claws, they will get you hungover. That's just what alcohol does.
All right,
now, besides that,
disclaimer, you
one-
can drink enough of these and get a hangover.
another thing that I think is very important to realize as White Claw has evolved as a mainstream way of consuming alcohol is that, over the weekend, I thought White Claws really only came in one size. Kind of like BS thin bottle or BS thin cans. That's not the
Yeah,
case.
the thin cans are nice. That's a good look.
They actually have tall boy White Claws, and I think that this is going to
Oh, shit.
grow into something where we're going to start crushing this shit during sporting events, during
Pre-games.
concerts. Can you imagine being at a rave with a crisp, cold White Claw in your hand? You know how hydrated you're going to
I
be?
will say this. I have been at a lot of raves, and then if you think about it, like, at some point you're like, hey, the beer's good, but I have to move over to get some water.
Right.
And now you can do the same in both. So, yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm completely on board. And it tastes great. Now, what I will say is there were a lot of reservations. I think there were a lot of reservations from the male perspective on hey, I mean, listen, like, it's not like I'm crushing beers with my bros,
Yeah, it's not like a masculine thing to carry around White Claws.
but it is because they have more
I think
kick
it's
than the
turning
beer.
into
They have more kick than the beer. They're more fun to drink than the beer. I mean, Kevin, before we even started, probably went through about 5 of these shits. Like, they're so easy
It's
to
water.
drink. Yeah, it's
Literally.
water. It's water.
Literally.
It's
It is.
water.
I'm looking
Nice.
at this right now, and it's water.
Yeah, you have another one on deck. Like,
I mean, do you think? Do you? All right, which brings me to my next point. Do you think college kids will be drinking this stuff?
college kids?
College? What's
People
college?
who are
mean?
of
What is
age,
college?
obviously.
What's college? What are you supposed to do there?
What do you mean? What am I supposed to do?
I think that this might be the most valuable lesson that you actually learn in college is like that you should convert from drinking beers,
Oh, I see what you're
shotting
saying.
beers, getting kegs of beers to now I'm shotgunning White Claws. Oh yeah, now hey, let's go down to the bar and get a kegger of White Claw. Why not?
Yo, I think that if you did that, you would probably have a really good time. Like, you would have a dope party. Like, people would be excited to have a keg of White Claw.
I
the
agree.
freshman 15 would be. It would probably turn into like the freshman.
Yeah, but the
10.
freshman 15
You'd
is
probably
a rite of
Cut
passage.
5 pounds.
Everybody goes through the freshman 15. I mean, every single person goes through the freshman 15, then they go through college and like, okay, yeah, I'm okay. Then they graduate from college, then they go through like the real world 25.
Yeah.
Where they just pack on weight because they have money and you just like pound food. So I think that goes hand in hand, but I like where you're going here because actually, what the hell did we do in college? Like, real question. Like, and I'll present this, I'll just kind of summarize this myself in terms of, a topic that I want to talk about is,
Craig,
We-
what did you do in college?
I don't know. Like, we all
Craig,
go to.
what did you do in college?
We all started out college with this idea in mind of, okay, like I want to be a writer or I want to be an actor or
I don't think
want
people go to college for those reasons.
I want to
well, specific ones.
I want to do like international business
Like NYU
or
or whatever.
I want to be in the media realm. And you end up going through college and sure there's like, a certain percentage of people that take advantage of the different resources that are at college, but those are a very small percentage. And what I've seen is, we all graduate and then what do we do that goes hand in hand with where we wanted to be at the end of college? I just don't see it happening.
So the only thing I'm gonna say, not to like shit on your point, is we got to exit out all the STEM people because those people have it set up. Like, they know what they're doing.
the STEM people.
The STEM people,
What does that mean?
science,
Oh.
technology, engineering.
See,
Math.
obviously,
Spotto from the side in the kitchen. He's a
I didn't
smart
even
guy.
learn that in college.
Yeah,
so.
there you go. That's
Exactly.
unfortunate. I was a history major. What were you, Craig?
History major.
History major. Yeah, and that's why we're drinking White
Where were
Claws.
you,
You
Brad?
didn't even ask me. Yeah, thanks, dude.
I was going
I'm just
going
kidding.
around.
I'm fucking with you.
Like, someone's getting a little bit emotional over there.
No, I was.
Someone
I was
needs a
in,
White Claw.
I was in education. So
Education. Hey,
But
look.
but looking after the fact, it's like, okay, Kevin, history major. What do you do now?
I would boast I'm a pretty good subscription seller.
Yeah.
I sell subscriptions pretty well.
Sales.
Yeah.
I'm in sales. Brad, what are you in?
I'm in sales too. I don't really sell. I just account manage.
And so
Strategically.
in reality, why didn't we, in knowing where we're going to be in the end of the day, why didn't we have like cold calling 101 or diving into and prospecting 102 or
Yeah,
demoing a bullshit ass platform 103, like shit like that. Like that was stuff that none of us did. And we all took like these different classes, but in reality, we don't remember shit that we did in college. What we went to college and really achieved is a good network, a good understanding of how you act out in public, maybe.
I don't know if that's accurate.
I think there's a couple things that you learn from college. Like, number one, I think the thing that you learned most if you were good in college was like time management, like learning how to
Right.
appropriately manage your time. So like if you think about it in the sense of, look, I got 2 classes today. I'm gonna eat lunch. I'm gonna get up in the morning, work out. I'm gonna go to class. I'm gonna go like have lunch at the fraternity house, wherever you have to eat. I'm gonna go to a class again, and then like, yo, let's go to the library for literally 3 hours every day. Get your shit done, and then you go out and fucking rage all night. It's not that complicated,
Right.
And like, unless you have those times when it's like, yo, you're in it. But at the end of the day, if you manage your time effectively, that's a skill that doesn't just transition from college. It can transition to other things. So I think that's one of the things that you can learn from college. But I'd agree with you in the fact of, the majority of the shit that I studied didn't really impact my sales career, and I didn't think I was going to be in sales. When you're in there, but ultimately, I think that's probably a majority of, outside of like STEM students, they find themselves into some type of sales position, right?
Well, yeah. And so time management stuff aside, are you telling me that hypothetically, if I sat you down as an 18-year-old kid at where you work, and I was like, hey, man, slam the phones day in and day out, build yourself up as a sales professional.
After I saw Wolf of Wall Street, yeah, why not?
Yeah. And so I think that's like where I'm trying to fall back on is I don't really understand what qualities that you're going to school that make you a better professional. And I think, from a world perspective, I think we're a little bit behind a lot of other folks because, back in the day in America, you used to go to school for a craft. Like, you used to go to school for printing, or you used to go to school for textile making or bricklaying, dumb shit like that. But hey, after the fact, you have a network of bricklayers and you're a bricklayer and you learned how to bricklay and now you bricklay for the rest of your life.
Sure. To an extent, I think that's true. I get what you're saying. The only thing that I'm going to talk about, though, is think about this. In history, you're in history as well. You have to write papers. When you write your research papers, you have to go through and you have to find primary sources. Your primary sources you then use as evidence for trying to make some type of statement.
Deep into that.
And so then you're thinking about hey, look, if you're going through and creating some type of paper and using research that you've done in the past about how this is going to impact a decision made on whether something's factual or not factual. I'm not saying it directly impacts into what it is that you're doing with, a sales conversation, but it does impact, I think, in the way that you think about things of, hey, let's put, let's create a bridge, or let's create some type of foundation that's going to support what you're saying.
Okay. I think you're onto something. And to my point, I think what college is, it's like a societal norm that, and there's a lot of people that don't end up going to college, but I think for the most part, it's an accepted societal norm where people are just like, you finish high school, you need to go to college, get a good education, and then end up finding yourself a job after you graduate.
Well,
which
Brad,
let me finish my point, which majority of people who graduate college still find it very hard to end up even securing a job within their own degree that they graduated with. So for me, I think what college is like a preliminary test for people to kind of not necessarily adapt or assimilate, but to be a part of society and actually understand how the world works as far as time management and as far as prioritizing what the most important things are out of your day or out of your life, and then obviously starting with something and finishing something.
Well, Brad, what you're saying is that struggle that you're talking about of some people go to college and they still struggle to get a job, and there are those people that feel like there's a societal norm of going to college because getting that good education is going to position you in getting that job. I think it's all bullshit because
you gotta be a go-getter.
A, you have to be a go-getter, and B, it's not society that's telling us that we have to go to college. It's the people that are going to be your employers. Right. In certain instances, dude, you can't even act like you're going to have an opportunity if you don't go to college. You know how many times you look at on LinkedIn at the job description or the requirements, and it's 4-year college degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually just did a little fact check here. Oh. And yeah.
Hold on. Is that the first fact check?
That's the first fact check. That's the first fact check of the podcast.
Stay Frothy podcast.
Yeah, dude.
Damn it. Okay, here's 15 people, super successful people who've never graduated college.
Oh, everyone's seen.
Here we go.
Everybody's seen this shit.
Oh, well, maybe there's people who
I can. Hold on. Let's see if I can name the 15 people before you do it. So I'm gonna name the first one, Bill Gates. He's on the list.
He's probably on the list, but that wasn't the first one. But
I'm
yes,
just saying,
Bill Gates
you're on
is
one of those ones with the.
You could even add more, honestly.
Mark Zuckerberg. Hold on,
okay,
Dude, this list is
stick over
ancient.
What you're doing over there.
This list is for dinosaurs.
No, but anyways, yes, I agree.
The list that Brad's looking at, I'm looking over his shoulder. It's for dinosaurs. The two people that you just named aren't even on it, and they're some of the most prolific people that didn't go to college.
But hold on, one thing.
Was Ellen DeGeneres, then Mark Zuckerberg. I actually just changed.
Hold on, did you know
so
this?
Mark Zuckerberg went to Harvard.
Did you know this?
And dropped out. Yeah.
Because he created Facebook.
Yeah.
White Claw is actually gluten free.
that is a huge market that they have tapped into, I guess. Yeah.
Are you serious? We're gonna go back on this?
No, what I'm saying is that I just want to make sure that folks know about White Claw. That's all.
No, that's a very good thing. For all of our gluten-free listeners out there, White Claw is definitely your alternative.
Give me your top. We got to move on. Give me your top 3 for folks who didn't graduate from college.
I think the argument was people who didn't finish college or didn't you don't necessarily need to go to college to be a successful human in society or a contributing member in society, right? Mark Zuckerberg, everyone knows his story. Russell Simmons,
Brad Dobbins. He went to a day school in Wilmington. I don't know if you guys know about that.
I did go to a pretty cool school down by the beach.
It's just like a day school. It's like a prep school.
But
for
I
adults.
finished. Okay. Brad Pitt. Oh shit.
Sigma Chi and Hope, baby. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Achilles.
You Sigma Chi's. Ted Turner. Natasha Bedingfield. Steve Jobs. We all knew that one.
Go Braves.
We all knew Steve Jobs. Oprah. All right, you guys get the point.
We get the point. Of the billions and trillions of people that have ever walked this earth, we figured out 15 people that have found a way to be unbelievably successful.
Never went to college.
The argument is that there's a lot more people who have made a success without actually going to college or finishing. Yeah. So while we were recording this podcast, Mike Botto has been cooking up
Swedish meatballs.
Swedish meatballs in the kitchen.
I'll wait to start.
We'll be posting. We'll post the recipe on the Millennial.
Yeah, we'll just make a blog post of how it turned out. We can honestly do that. All right.
You're not going to know because you ate sushi earlier, motherfucker.
So you brought up an interesting point earlier before we started recording, but that when Drake released "In My Feelings" song, and then literally the next week or two, this dude who did the Stephen A. impersonations, who I don't even know his name, but everyone knows him as the Shiggy Show, created the viral dance that is the In My Feelings challenge, the Shiggy challenge.
Well, and the point I was making here, Brad, was not more so just about this guy's Shiggy Show, but at what point do you actually become famous? And is famous by definition, has that changed from?
I think it's changed
where it has been
because I think it's changed. Because
with this guy, I don't know who he is. I saw everybody doing the In My Feelings challenge, and I never did it. It seems kind of fun.
The In My Feelings challenge and the Stang would be sick, though.
The Stang's got a dead battery.
No.
This is a topic on itself. Let's
I'm sorry.
It's so fucking
Craig
sad.
drives a Mustang, guys. Sick
So
plug.
pathetic too that I
Sick
don't just
plug.
call it AAA.
All right, sick plug.
All right, all I'm gonna say is that I've never sat in the back of a car and felt more comfortable. That's a 2-door. It's a fucking comfortable car.
Yeah, it's got a lot of room.
It's spacious.
And especially if you have a 12-pack of White Claw back there, so easy to dish those out to the folks in the car.
The best part about a 12-pack of White Claw, there's only 1,200 calories in there. Oh, I'm drinking all of them. But the whole thing that I was gonna say though,
there's 100 calories.
This is a really good story actually. Let's talk about this story real quick.
Oh, in a pack. Yeah.
We're talking about this story, and then I want to get back to your point about when someone becomes famous. So, we were all in New York City one time. Mike Botto, the chef, Mike, he volunteered to drive Craig's car. I missed my bus to get back to DC. It was honestly a shit show of a morning. We get the car. It was parked underneath some ground somewhere. It was $300, typical New York. We get in there. We're trying to get out of Manhattan. It's a fucking disaster. We're finally we're on our way. We're getting there. So Craig, do you have a Easy Pass or what's the deal there?
Nope. Did not have an Easy Pass.
Did not have an Easy Pass. Yeah, that's the answer I was looking for. So sure enough, Craig is sitting in the passenger seat. Mike's driving. We've been boozing for literally 4 days straight. Craig's like, hey man, make sure to go through all the toll booths, make sure we pay them, and Botto just is blowing past every single easy pass.
Yeah. Well, the worst part about this.
So I'm gonna let's move this over to Craig to tell his perspective. So eventually we're like, yo, dude, Craig's like, you have to fucking stop doing this, man. Blah, 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 blah. So he goes.
Well, they take pictures of you when you blow by.
I know, but you have to pay extra for it.
Of course,
they'll send you that shit in the mail.
That's the whole point.
We know that, Brad.
But the whole point
so
is
you guys got caught.
So when we're not getting caught, we just know we're going to get billed for it. So the whole point is we go over, we stop at some place, And then like we park, and then Bato's like, okay, let's just everyone hold on. I'm gonna run out.
I had to take
And
a
then,
huge
and then you and then he had to take a
Yeah.
shit. Like, it happens. All right, go ahead. Finish.
So essentially what happens is we're cruising down the road. We're like, all right, we got to get more cash because, God forbid, I cannot get caught by another toll because my license plate actually directs all of my tickets to my house at home. So those are always really pleasant conversations with my parents. We've done this whole bit up in New York where we blow through tolls, and, it doesn't go over very well with my parents. And I honestly, it sounds shameless, but they pay it. So anyway.
What?
I know. It's definitely a huge cause of
this
contention
changes
between
everything.
my
I thought
parents.
that you were paying this. All right, continue.
Oh, no. They take it out of my bank account. My mom has access to my bank account. It's sad.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
All right,
so
go ahead.
as I continue,
What's the point of this story, by the way?
The point of the story.
we getting
shut the fuck up. Bro.
Yeah, the
The
point
point of the story is this. My guy Mike's like, yo, I'm going to go take some cash out of the ATM real quick. But while I'm doing it, I'm going to run to this bar because I do think I have to take a shit. Goes in, has a huge thing about taking a shit, like goes into different establishments, figures it out, comes back, gets in the car. We're all good. We're like, okay, finally, we got everything figured out. Let's go. We're rolling down the street and we see a toll sign again on the highway.
And I'm like,
thank God we got some
yo,
cash.
I'm like, so this is when I come back in. So I'm just in the back seat, crumpled up like a fucking, like a, I don't even know what like a little, I was in a cocoon. And I'm like, hey, Bato, yo, like, hey, there's a toll booth coming up. He's like, no, I know. We're like in the center of the of the drive, and he's like, or the center of the parkway, and he's like, no, I understand. Sure enough, we're going, and all of a sudden there's just a barrier. And there's nothing we can do. Just put out $60. He's like, there's nothing we can do. We're stuck. Sure enough, we just blow past.
Yeah.
We blow past another toll booth, and Craig just is like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, I'm like, Mike, the only thing that you were supposed to do when you got out of the car was get fucking cash. And the only thing that you did was found a place to take a huge shit, get back in the car, and make us take a fucking ticket because now we're blowing through another toll booth. God damn it.
Yeah, that was the whole point of the story.
That was the whole point of the story.
Not a big deal, but I also did go to a Caps game that night. It was a psychopath thing after
Yeah,
a long weekend in New York. But anyways, back to the topic that we were talking about. I do think that one of the things that made me think about when someone like legitimately becomes famous is like there's like the folks that you see something that they do and then it gets populated across like different folks. But then, and an example of that we talked about the other day, Brad, was the dance by all the goths, and then now it's turned into it's turned into a legit dance that everyone's doing, right?
Yeah.
But no one knows who those goths are, right? Like no one knows who they are.
No, they're just random people.
Good
No one knows
goths.
who
Those
the-
goths have
But
moves.
everyone knew them for the goths that I don't even know what this dance is called.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
just-
the dance
it's
is
so
Well, now
much
it's
fun to do.
but people know it as like, people that aren't informed about like the origin of it think of it as like the Fortnite dance.
Yeah, very true.
They think of it as a Fortnite dance. They don't think of it as like
So
the
is
goth
Fort-
meme.
Is Fortnite famous?
Dude, Fortnite's like a drug, dude.
Dude, it's
Trust me.
worldly famous. Yes.
I carried my Xbox over and we played Fortnite together.
If there's any Fortnite players that listen to this, please stay tuned. The 9312 boys are coming your way.
9312.
It's gonna be the most badass fucking clan out there. I'm talking to you, Ninja. I'm talking to all the other folks out
If
there.
you're on Twitch and
that
you're not
really,
fucking with the 9312 boys,
if you're on
get the
Twitch,
fuck outta here.
come mess with the 9312 boys. Fortnite's an addiction and it's a drug and it's something that kids should learn about in the DARE program, but that's not something that we're gonna learn about tonight.
You're on Nutties, that's why I'm gonna chime in here real quick. I'm pretty sure the guy that
He's a
created
billionaire.
it is a billionaire.
He's a billionaire.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
So, yes, definitely.
He's a billionaire.
So anyway, like in terms of becoming famous, I think that becoming famous really encompasses being somebody that can impact others, like for whatever is like beneficial towards like a cause that you're supporting. I don't think that you're necessarily famous just because you go viral. I don't think you're necessarily famous just because like a certain like subsect or group is following your shit.
Yeah.
I think that you become famous when you start impacting others. Like for example, like Drake. Like when Drake was going around Miami and passing out money to all those folks. Like that's like a
Hold on.
famous
Drake
dude
was
move.
Drake was very famous way before that.
He was very famous before that,
Yeah.
but I
You can't-
definitely think that was like a move that, yes, a lot of like these viral stars can do that, but like the fact that it's Drake it means so much, and like it projected to so many other people.
Quick question: who's the biggest star to ever come out of social media?
Biggest star to come out of social media?
I mean, you could think there's a shit ton of people. That
Kim
come off of
Kardashian?
social media. She didn't come off of social media. She came out of porn.
No, she didn't come out of porn, dude. She came out of her dad. Her dad was the person who defended OJ in the trials. That's how.
Right, but nobody knew Kim Kardashian for Kim Kardashian. They just knew the Kardashians,
Yeah.
and then Kim Kardashian got famous.
The
after
correct
the whole
answer
Ray
here
J
is
thing.
Justin Bieber. But the point that I'm
Yes,
saying,
fair enough.
All right, the
You-
point.
I think it's Kim Kardashian.
She didn't become famous
She's
on
not,
social media.
Yeah,
social
she's
media.
not on social media, dude.
Well, I mean, she is now.
Dude, her porn tape hit.
That's
like,
not
whatever
a
it was.
social media platform.
No. It's the White Claws, dude. They work. No, but the point that I was trying
Porn
to make,
is social media. It's like, Jesus Christ. Wake the hell up and have a White Claw.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was gonna say was, look, there are more and more people who are becoming famous from social media. Like, who's little Hank Williams, like that guy, literally the little yodeling kid
Yeah,
is
the kid
now
who
like
was-
a big star. Fucking at Coachella, taking pictures with another guy.
I would say he's
Beats.
famous. I would
He's
say
famous.
he's
He's
Yo,
famous.
Lil Bro had
But
a
the
home
guy-
video in Walmart.
But the
Shit was
guy,
crazy.
but the guy who's doing this and those videos, that guy's not famous. He's not making any dollars off that.
I mean, I think it's arguable to say like the In My Feelings guy, like whatever he did.
That's
Like,
what
I
I'm
don't think
saying.
he's famous.
That's what I'm saying.
So what's your definition of being famous? Because I told you this earlier. I said I think having a certain amount of followers on a social media platform.
I don't think
guarantees
that's
you
it, man.
being
I don't
famous.
think
There's
that's
a
it.
difference between being famous and being rich famous.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think I think you genuinely have to have an impact to be famous. Like I think that if people are like, "Hey man, I really want to hear what this guy has to say about this," then you're famous.
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't have to be like there are famous
Does
people.
that mean that we're famous?
Like, all right. Here's an example. What about
Yeah.
do you know the guy? You know the Boonk Gang guy,
Yeah, we know the
Remember
Boot
him?
Gang guy. I don't give a fuck what he has to say.
but you know him. So is he or is he not famous?
He's not famous.
Why?
Hold on.
People.
Do you know who the
just
Boonk
said you
Gang
knew
guy
him.
is?
No. I was actually going to talk about something completely different. I just had a great idea. But
I love it. Let's go down that road because, dude, the Boot Gang guy is not famous. He's actually an idiot.
Yeah, he's an idiot, but people follow him and like his stuff. Like
Right,
it's-
but I don't think that makes him famous. Like just for being a dumbass and making a fool out of yourself.
lot of-
it's like that kid that always like comes into school and acts up all the time and everybody knows who the fuck he is, but like no one really likes him. We just like know what he is and like we all laugh at his shit.
Yeah,
like
but I
that's
think
what that is.
if you have a legit following,
trash.
if you have a legit following of people,
I don't think that makes you famous.
then what is your definition of famous?
What my definition of
I think
famous,
Good-
I've
I
said
think
this
Good Charlie
maybe,
would say
I don't know,
it best.
twice at this point,
Okay,
is
say it
when
again.
when people look to you to have an impact on different things that like are within their day in day out life and like they take you seriously. I think that's being famous.
I mean, I agree with that, but I also think that there are also influencers who are not necessarily the best, but they influence people. They influence a mass of people.
You think that Boot Gang guy really for his masses make people want to do his shit? Yo, if people really looked at Boot Gang guy as like a famous icon, we'd be living in a day and age with a fucking purge.
I don't know who we're talking about right now, guys.
Exactly,
But I
Kevin,
will- but I
because
will
the guy's
say
not
this.
fucking famous.
But I will say this. I know we're running low on time. I think we're talking about social media. We're talking about things getting big. I know that we all are stalkers on Instagram. We're always looking at funny accounts. We're always looking at Instagram models. I think it's a good way to end this. We'll have just a recurring thing maybe. What's been your favorite like Instagram account of you have like 15 seconds to say it. What's been your favorite Instagram account of the week, the past 2 weeks? Craig, I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna go around the table.
Shit, honestly, I feel bad.
Yeah, I'm freaking out right now.
I
I'm
looked
like
down.
looking
I
at
looked down at
Instagram.
like the people I'm following, and it's 666. So I don't know if I'm
3
the
6
right
Mafia,
person.
dude. No, it's my favorite band. Continue.
No, 666, like 666, like the
Obviously,
devil.
you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Wow,
Triple
dude, you're
6
gonna
Mafia.
die.
3 6 Mafia.
You're gonna die tonight.
Wow, yeah, that was
All right, so
pretty
obviously the
uncomfortable.
boys didn't come prepared. So
No,
I'll start off.
Yeah, you start.
I'll start off. So, my favorite account actually for this month, it's not new, but you know, I typically have stopped following ESPN. Like it's a joke now. It's besides PTI, you know, Wilbon and company are great. but Tony is fantastic. But the ESPN has been killing it with the ESPN Ocho. I mean, we have the Ocho on right now.
There's a lot of really good content
It's
going on there.
literally incredible. It's the best content I've seen. This is the most I've watched ESPN over the past 3 days. I can't stop watching it. I can't. I just watched Monica playing, dodgeball, hitting some kids throwing nerds throwing juggling pins. It was fantastic.
They were nerds.
So I'm gonna go with the ESPN over the past week. They've done a really good job trying to get folks back in.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go over to Brad.
Nice. This is just gonna be like a classic. I mean, this isn't anything like new. Everyone probably knows of them, but I'm just gonna use this as my first one. And I haven't just started following them, but since we're just now doing this segment, my favorite Instagram account that I follow currently is Barstool Sports, because whenever I'm in need of a good laugh, there is literally always something that I can just find on that Instagram account and just laugh for a solid.
Favorite Barstool person? Go.
Favorite Barstool person?
Yeah.
I'm a big Francis Roan guy and El Prez.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm a big Wonton Don guy.
Yeah,
Love the
I
foreign
like Donnie's
correspondent.
shit too.
Yeah.
The guy's an absolute legend.
I like Donnie's content for sure.
All right,
So-
let's go to Craig.
All right, Leroy.
My favorite Instagram that I've started following recently is the Millennial Y.
Yeah,
I'm just fucking kidding. I don't follow that shit. Fuck that trash. Bob Menery is by far my favorite guy that I started following recently. He's the guy that voices over different, sports moments, and he does it with
So
this
good.
whole
Persona.
bit. Yeah, this whole persona that's just second to none.
He actually sounds like a sports announcer.
Yeah, he actually sounds like a sports announcer. He does kind of cross the line here and there. So if you're a little sensitive, I'd steer clear. But,
Can you spell that out for us for people who?
Yeah, I'll spell it out.
I can actually link it.
I'm a bit slow.
I can link it to the video.
So it's spelled out Bobmenery, and
so
all together.
Bobmenery.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I could do it with the whole B as in boy, O as in octopus, but I'm not
You're
going to
good.
do
You're
that.
good.
I don't
You're
need
good.
the
You're
phonetic.
good. You're good.
But yeah, I mean, just check down the description. I'm pretty sure Brad can tie this all together. But it's an unbelievable account, and especially for people that are lushbag, scumbag sports fans. You will absolutely love this account.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, dude. I really appreciate this. I actually like this podcast a lot. Not that I don't like any of my other podcasts.
Thank you for signing
but
into
this is
Light
really
Skin
cool.
Radio, brought to you by Irishman Brad Dobbins.
That's not the podcast.
Go grab yourself a Guinness. My name is Bradley Dobbins.
All right. Thanks a
Chef
lot.
Mike, fire it up. Let's
Thanks a
go.
lot, guys,
Fire up
for
those
listening to
Swedish
Stay
meatballs.
Frothy. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.